What is up, everyone on YouTube? It's your boy, the Memphis XLI, coming at you live with Card Talks, the show where I talk about new cards and just look over their effects, give you my opinion of them. We got ourselves a bit of legacy support today, 6 new pieces of legacy support for a whole host of different archetypes. So let's look at these cards. We're going to start off here with a Dark Magic Secrets. It's basically just a fusion slash ritual card that's a quick play for Dark Magicians. Basically, you fusion summon a monster that needs Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, or rituals summon a monster that includes Dark Magician, Dark Magician Girl. Basically, you need to use Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl for the tributes or the materials, whatever. But all in all, it's a decent card. Maybe replace Polly in your Dark Magician deck with this. Nothing too special. I mean, it's a good card, but it's not like super special, awesome, or anything like that. Next, we got Generation Next, which, if you didn't know, is a reference to the GX opening theme song. Generation Next is a quick play spell that states if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you take an E-Hero, a Karibo, or a Neospatian from your deck whose attack is less than or equal to the difference between your life and your opponent's, and either put it in your hand or special summon it, but you can't activate cards or the effects of cards with that card's name for the rest of the turn. You can only play this once per turn. Obviously, this is the best card because it lets you special summon any Karibo from your deck. I mean, that alone makes this card tier 0 easy. Jokes aside, though, this is an alright sort of card. It's basically just if you're losing all of a sudden and you need to summon a monster from your deck. There's certainly certain heroes that would work with this effect. Well, because of the restriction, you wouldn't want to summon Stratos or Dark Mist. Maybe Necro Shade, set him up. I mean, that's something for at least, setting things up. It's mostly just to protect your life points, or get something to your hand, like get Honest Neo so you can use it in the turn after. It really depends. So it's an alright sort of card. It's kind of gimmicky in the way that it's just a reference to the anime, E-Heroes, Kuribos, Neospatians, all of Jaden cards. So it's an alright sort of card. Maybe plays with a one-of in something. Next is probably what I think, this is the best card here. This is the best card in my opinion, Synchron Chase. If you're Synchro summon a Warrior Synchron or a Stardust Synchro, you can target one of the materials and summon it in defense mode. So as the artwork clearly shows, you use Junk Synchron and your Speed the Warrior in order to summon Junk Warrior, and then you bring back Junk Synchron and make your Stardust Dragon. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Here's the kicker though, there's more. Your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to the activation of the effects of Synchro monsters whose original name include Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust. So basically, if you got Stardust on the field, your opponent can't negate its effects, basically. If your opponent plays for Geki or that new Lightning Storm spell or whatever it's called, your opponent won't be able to stop your Stardust from negating that. With like an impermanence or anything. So it's an interesting card. It's good for synchros, I suppose. 1, maybe 2 in a synchro-y sort of climb deck. Might have to make a synchro deck now that this thing exists. It's an interesting card. Next, we got Zubaba Bancho, GaGaGa Coat, which is a mouthful if I ever heard one. It's an Earth Warrior with level 4, 1800 attack, 100 defense. Fairly cool artwork, I like that. Part of the Zubaba GaGaGa archetype. Yeah. I hate how Yuma's cards were all like mixed archetype. He had like 4 archetypes in the same deck. It was weird. And this reflects that. This guy states if this card's in your hand and you control a Zubaba or a GaGaGa, except for himself, you can summon this card. And you can target a GoGoGo or a Dododo in your graveyard, summon it, but you can't special summon except for Xyz monsters this turn. So obviously you just run this in your weird Yuma deck and go for rank 4 Xyz. There's not much else to say about it. Not that you would be playing, I mean, you might play GaGaGa Magician with this. Something like that. That would work. Or, you play it with GaGaGas, really. They're the only branch that really do much. Zubaba, really? GoGoGo? No way. Dododo? Who? None of those. So it's an okay card. I mean, if GaGaGa's become a more proper archetype with, more than what are the Xyz for GaGaGa again? GaGaGa. Let's see. Oh yeah, all of 2 cards. Okay. If they get like a new Xyz, this will be better. But as it stands, no. Next, we've got Performapal Popup, which is, as you'd expect, a Performapal sort of support. You send up to 3 cards from hand to the grave. Draw the same number of cards you sent to the grave. If you have 2 cards in your pendulum zones, you can summon Performapal's Magician Pendulum monsters and/or Odd Eyes from your hand with different names and have levels between, exclusively, the pendulum scales of the cards in the pendulum zone up to the number of cards you drew by this effect. So basically, you get rid of a bunch of cards, draw some new cards. If you have pendulum zones, you swarm the field. Who thought this was a good idea with how good pendulum magicians and Odd Eyes dragons can be? I don't know. But there is a catch. There is a catch. If you don't summon by this card's effect, you lose 1,000 for every card in your hand. And you only use this once per turn. So basically, here's how it goes. If your opponent goes first and just set a card, and you draw your 1 card, you get 6. You set your 2 scales, you're down to 4. You play this, discard 3, draw 3. Your opponents, they throw out a Mystic Space Typhoon. Yeah, you drew 3 cards, but you're going to take 3,000 damage. So it's a risky card if your opponent's playing any sort of spell, trap, destruction. But otherwise, you can certainly do things for your Odd Eyes deck. I mean, you dump in the cards you don't need to get a bunch of dragons. So it's a risky card. Maybe play it as a one-of. And it's something. Certainly something. Last but not least, we have the new Ghostrick card, Ghostrick Fanny. She has the standard Ghostrick effect of can't be normal summon unless you have a Ghostrick. And once per turn, you can flip her face down. And when this card's flip face up, you can target a Ghostrick card, meaning a monster, spell, or trap, in your graveyard. You set it to your field, and then you flip monsters your opponent controls face down up to the number of face down cards you control. And banishes a card that was set from the graveyard when it leaves the field. So basically, it's a recovery card. You got your Ghostrick card in the graveyard, Ghostrick Knights, Ghostrick Go Round, any of the monsters, etc., etc. You get it back, and then you can flip your opponent's monsters. Obviously, this doesn't work very well in Link era, but if you, say, went first, and you set this monster, you had a way to flip it face up on your opponent, and you had a couple other set cards, you can interrupt their Xyz plays by, flipping all the monsters face down, and then they can't use them no more. The only problem with this is you need to have a Ghostrick in the graveyard first, or else this does not work. So it's a tricky card. 2 or 3. 3 is a bit much, but at least 2 copies of this. It's something for Ghostrick. Hopefully they'll be getting more support soon, because 1 and done is not good enough. And why is she holding a candy cane? That's Christmas. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash like if you did. If you like me talking about new cards on YGO Pro, what do you think of these cards? Which is your favorite? Let me know. I'll see you guys next time with more talk of cards. Your boy Memphis, signing out. And see you next time, everybody.